And welcome everybody to my review of Elden Ring. Don't know why I want to make this like a normal YouTube intro. I guess because I'm just in that weird mood. Anyways, welcome to my review of Elden Ring. With the game being out for a couple of weeks now, it's taking some time doing some leveling and things like that. I've thoroughly enjoyed this game. It's definitely a good entry in the Soulsborne family. I feel like a lot of the difficulty does come from, again, still the bosses being set, but I feel like they are easier in aspects versus other Soulsborne games. Prime example, as hard as the first major boss, Margaret, was, it only took me so many attempts, very few attempts to beat him. I rarely had any boss that was over 10 attempts to beat them. Otherwise, most of the other ones were, every single boss was under 10. There was a few that were over 10. Very, very few that were over 10, actually. I can only think of a handful of secret bosses and certain other bosses that really did give me a lot of issues. But overall, the game felt good and the bosses felt fair. Though cheesy at some points, fair. Everything in this game can be daunting, but let's put it out as the open world aspect. The ability to just go anywhere at the start, go and visit whoever and do whatever, fight and whatnot, is a great thing. I actually enjoyed that about a game that people will relate this to, which is Breath of the Wild, but I liked it more because I don't have to worry about ability of my weapons. I can just get a weapon and go, and we're good. The weapons themselves still feel like a Souls game, so all those weapons felt nice and worked well. The weapon arts that you can get with it are great as well. I'm getting ahead of myself. The open world was amazing to explore. Great to see a breath of fresh air, essentially, in a Souls game. Being able to just continue from anywhere and go was great. I liked the fact that after I got through one boss, I'm like, oh, I don't want to go here. I'm going to go over here. I spent a lot of hours in this game just exploring. Probably unfair to the game. I probably spent at least 60 hours of my game just exploring and running around the map. I think, yeah, maybe more. Of the 80 hours I put in to get everything done, I think at least 60 of it was just exploring the map and just getting lost in the world. And the open world is amazing. I highly recommend, if you just want to explore, it's amazing. It really is. I mentioned earlier about the weapons and how they work, and I thoroughly enjoyed them. Weapon arts are great. Every weapon seems to have a weapon art of some sort, or you can use what are called Ashes of War in the game to add a weapon art to a weapon. Made the game really, really unique comparatively to the other Souls games. Certain weapons having their own special abilities, that's normal in Souls games, especially with some of the games that, I play in certain weapons that have been staples in the games. I specifically will always state, the Moonlight Greatsword is an amazing weapon in every single Soulsborne game, but it's also usually kind of a pain to get, and I thoroughly enjoyed having it myself. I didn't use it on the last boss fight, but that's besides the point, and I kind of was jumping around a lot in my build. But overall, the weapons felt great, the Ashes of War felt great, the weapon arts felt great. Magic in this game was good, and not as broken as something like Demon Souls was. It was more balanced, but it was still there in certain things. But this one felt like a learning curve wasn't that high. You could easily just get around and do everything, but the learning curve to do all those things wasn't as high as other Soulsborne games, which again I feel is fair. With the open worldness and how everything is, it felt like, I wouldn't say they dumbed down bosses, but the bosses didn't feel as punishing as other Soulsborne games. Again, bringing it back to that aspect of what I'm stating is the game's fair. Now, with all that, even though I'm talking a lot of praise and I've been enjoying the game and everything, there are some gripes. I mean, it's a Soulsborne game. You're going to have some gripes with the game here and there overall. So I kind of want to go over these. The first thing I really want to go over is I played on PC, and the connection on PC, if you want to play multiplayer, was, for lack of better words, atrocious. At plenty of times, yes, I know when you click on someone else could be summoning them, and whoever's connection is just a little bit faster to the servers, they're going to pull them, and then you're not going to get them. But there were plenty of times that I spent 15-20 minutes trying to summon people and summoning 40-50 summons, essentially trying to summon people, and it wouldn't work. And that is seriously one of my gripes for this game, right? It's probably my biggest gripe to this game was connection. And it doesn't matter, it didn't matter anything, it didn't matter who I was summoning. The chances of me not summoning someone was higher than summoning someone. And even then, when you came around to one other thing, which was when you were in a multiplayer match and you could join your friends and whatnot, our connections weren't always the most stable, and we would just lose connection. We would be doing a boss fight and then someone just gets kicked out just randomly. And even on Dark Souls 3, the game never had that issue. So, and I played out Dark Souls 3 on PC, so this game definitely had suffered issues with it harshly, and it wasn't even, it's not even a fair thing, just to say, it's not really, not a good system, which kind of prevents me from wanting to do PvP and certain other things, but that's besides the point on that aspect. It's just the connection overall to the servers just was not great. And though I did state, like, all the bosses felt fair, that was one. Most of the bosses felt fair. There were a couple of bosses, and I stated there were a few bosses that took me more than 10 attempts. The bosses that definitely took more than 10 attempts, not all of them, but some of them just were set up in a way that no matter what you did, if you didn't cheese the boss, you weren't beating the fight. It's just, they were set up in a way that the fairness of them was through gimmicks. Radon was a good one to do, to show example, before he was patched and he was easier. He really was, if you weren't using summons, the fight wasn't necessarily doable. Like, I know you can do it without having the summons in there and blah blah, but it just wasn't a fun fight overall. I spent a lot of time on Radon. I did get him down. It wasn't too much of a hassle, but overall, at that time, Radon just wasn't fun. There was nothing fun about that fight. Everything about that fight just was a slog. And something that, again, didn't feel fair. Even with using summons, it just didn't sit right. A couple other fights that didn't feel fair. I'm not gonna think of their name. Well, really just some of the open world bosses just didn't feel fair. Like, if you weren't on a horse, you weren't going to beat those bosses. Some of them, made sense. Others, I just didn't feel like you should need to use a horse. And that leads into the next point with the horse. As much as I like the horse to go around everywhere, attacking on the horse was the most irritating thing to do. And it's not like it was horrible, but you literally had to jumble between, I played on controller left bumper and right bumper to do any attacks on the horse. But you couldn't use a shield. You couldn't use your left-hand weapon. So if you wanted to do something like cast spells while you're on the horse, you had to have it on your right hand. Use it. If you wanted to do any type of spell casting when it was in your right hand, you slowed down. You literally were at the mercy of whatever enemy. So it was almost not worth being on the horse if you're a spellcaster. And then with the melee, it was good it worked, but it didn't feel right. Everything about being on the horse when attacking didn't feel right, and was it is a gripe, it is a complaint, and it is a knock on me for the game. But overall, the game overall, I thoroughly enjoyed. I feel 100% this game is the easiest of the Souls games, period, end of story. Anyone could get into this game, and anyone could play and beat the game. But do you understand that it is still a Souls-born game, so some of these fights are not going to be fun. Some of these fights, you're going to get into them right away, and they're just going to beat you and take you down and make you feel like trash. And that is true in any game. They literally give you a world boss right out at the start, and people go and fight it. I know, I did. That's not what you're supposed to do, and it's supposed to teach you how to get around it. But there's where people's adventures in this game stop, because they think they have to beat that boss to go around. And the big thing is not being that way. Everyone needs to really if you're gonna play this game, you just need to go. It's definitely something that you just had to go about differently. And it's really, the best way to put it is you really had to break that mentality of, hey, we're gonna go. Oh, don't fight this boss, let's go. Like I said, overall, I love the game. definitely is game of the year for me, and definitely is one of the games that I would highly recommend to people. But I would also state, take your time, play the game how you want to play it. That is the biggest thing. Play this game how you want to play it, because that's really what it comes down to. Don't listen to to anyone else. I'm not gonna say the Souls community, because some of the Souls, I would say a lot of the Souls community doesn't care how you play the game. Just play the game and have fun. We just make the jokes get good, and you will have to get good in this game. But anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed the review. I know I rambled on in this a lot, so thoroughly hope you guys enjoyed it. As always, if you guys enjoyed this, please give a like, hit that subscribe button, and share this with a friend. Anyways, guys, I will see you all in the next video. Till then, take care.